we will look at the consequences of the Pythagorean theorem on two special right triangles, the 45-45 a 90 degrees triangle and the 30-60 90 degrees triangle. We will begin with the 45-45 90 degrees triangle with the legs of length A and the hypotenuse of length C. In this figure, as you can see, the legs have the same measure or is the same length, which is represented as A, and for the length of the hypotenuse, which is C. By Pythagorean theorem, C squared equals A squared plus A squared, since both legs measure the length of A. Simplifying this, you can get C squared is equals to 2A squared. Then, extracting square roots on both sides of the equation, you can get C is equals to A square root of 2. Thus, the length of the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times as long as its leg. In the theorem, in a 45-degree, 45-degree, 90-degree triangle, both legs are congruent and the length of the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times as long as each leg. In symbols, hypotenuse is equal to x square root of 2, where x is represented as the measure of the leg. Take note, a 45-45 90-degree triangle is also called as the isosceles right triangle. Now let's have some example. Example number 1, letter A. Find the value of x and y in an isosceles right triangle. In our first figure, we have here x represented for one of the legs of a 45-45 degree right triangle and y represented for the hypotenuse of this triangle. So for the solution, since x is the leg of an isosceles triangle, so the length of x is equals to 4 units, while the length of y is square root of 2 times the length of the leg, so y is equals to x square root of 2. Since x is 4, y is equals to 4 times square root of 2, y is equals to 4 square root of 2 units. Example number 1, letter B. In this figure, we need to find the value of x and y in an isosceles right triangle. In this case, y still is the hypotenuse and x is the measure of the other leg. Since x is a leg of an isosceles right triangle, so the length of this leg is equal to square root of 8 units. While the length of y is square root of 2 times the length of the leg, so y is equals to x square root of 2. Since x is square root of 8, square root of 8 times square root of 2, that's square root of 16. And simplifying square root of 16, that's 4. So y is equals to 4 units. Now, we will continue with our second special right triangle, which is the 30-60-90 degrees triangle. Suppose the triangle ABC is a 30-60-90 degrees triangle with a segment B as the hypotenuse of the length C and segment AC as the shorter leg with the length of A and segment BC as the longer length with the length of B. By segment addition postulate, we could say that C is equal to segment CS plus segment AC. Since segment CS and segment AC both have a length of A, so you will have there C equals A plus A. C is equals to 2A. Thus, the length of the hypotenuse C is twice the length of the shorter leg. Applying Pythagorean theorem on triangle ABC, C squared is equals to A squared plus B squared. Since C is equals to 2A, you will have here quantity 2A squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Simplifying this, you can get 4a squared equals a squared plus b squared. 4a squared minus a squared, that would be 3a squared. And by symmetric property, we could say that b squared is equals to 3a squared. Extract square roots on both sides, you will have here b is equals to a square root of 3. Thus, the length of the longer leg b is square root of 3 times the length of the shorter leg a. In theorem, in a 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg, and the length of the longer leg is the length of the shorter leg times square root of 3. In symbols, longer leg is equal to a square root of 3, while shorter leg is represented as a, and the hypotenuse will be represented as 2a. Example number 2. In a 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle, determine the length of the hypotenuse and the length of the longer leg. Given that the shorter leg is 5, hypotenuse is represented as c, longer leg is represented as b, while shorter leg is represented as a. So for a solution, since in a 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg, so c is equals to 2a. Since a is 5, you can say that c is equals to 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10, so c is equal to 10 units. While the length of the longer leg b is square root of 3 times the shorter leg a, so b equals a square root of 3. Since a is 5, you could say that 5 times square root of 3. b is equal to 5 square root of 3 units. Example number 3. Find the value of x and y in a 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle. For a solution, since this is a 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle, the length of the hypotenuse, which is y, is twice the length of the shorter leg, which is 8. So y is equals to 2 times 8. Y is equals to 16, since 2 times 8 is 16. Y equals 16 units. While the length of the longer leg x is square root of 3 times the shorter leg 8, so x equals 8 times square root of 3. 8 times square root of 3, that would be 8 square root of 3. So x is equal to 8 square root of 3 units.